Hey guys, what is going on? This is Wrestlelamia, back with another episode. The summer will be here, which means fans can expect things to heat up outdoors and in the ring. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at the 4th June edition of Smackdown, as well as the wildest wrestling news and rumors you need to know, including Andrade debuts in AEW, Charlotte's reaction, Drew McIntyre calls out John Cena, and more. As always, Wrestlelamia won't recap the show, but provide you with the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. The good. Roman Reigns rules. Is there any question that Roman Reigns is the best thing going in WWE? Not only is the Tribal Chief the best on SmackDown, but he's also the best performer in the entire WWE. Reigns' badassery was on full display tonight as he carried himself with the swagger you'd expect from an arrogant heel, and he oozed contempt for his cousins, the Usos, mistaking one for the other, then proclaiming it didn't matter as they were both worthless to him. Reigns is a monster in the ring, and his displays of disdain for everyone around him has turned him into the WWE's best heel in years. While Reigns' first few months as a heel had some speed bumps, he's polished his act to perfection, and now it's up to WWE to feed him strong opponents to keep his title reign fresh. Although Wrestlelamia has talked about this before, it bears mentioning that Reigns' importance can be seen in the way he affects other storylines, whether it's his presence in the tag team title hunt or the feud between Cesaro and Seth Rollins. Reigns' involvement in the Usos vs. Mysterios feud showed Reigns' disgust at Jay and Jimmy coming up short, with the Tribal Chief destroying the Mysterios by himself to show them that he could do what the two of them couldn't do. While this might seem like it came at the expense of the Mysterios and made them look bad, both Dominic and Rey wrestled 2 matches, so they were in no shape to fight Reigns off. Reigns also has a subtle but notable presence in the ongoing feud between Cesaro and Seth Rollins, as fans know whoever comes out on top will come after Reigns for the Universal Championship. Don't be surprised to see Reigns become involved in the feud at some point too, as he knows Cesaro came close to beating him for the title, and his past history with Rollins needs no explanation. SmackDown's use of Reigns exemplifies the type of superior storytelling that captures the fans' attention and builds suspense for the next week's shows. The golden role model is magnificent. While the WWE often makes it easy to find fault with its product, Wrestlelamia can't find any fault with Bayley, as she's magnificent on so many levels. Wrestling's golden role model may have perfected her heel act, but she hasn't let that stop her from continuing to grow as she gets better every week and doesn't phone it in, either in the ring or on the microphone. While Bayley isn't on the same level as Roman Reigns, that's only because the WWE doesn't push the women's division anywhere near the same level as the men's division. Regardless, Bayley is the best thing going in the women's division, including NXT and Raw. She's reached the point where she doesn't need a championship, and she's done a fantastic job building Bianca Belair up as a legitimate women's champion. And Belair, of course, deserves credit for her work as well. What's even more amazing about Bayley is that at 31, she hasn't even peaked. Alpha Academy intrigue. Chad Gable's interaction with the Street Profits showed why he's more than just a good worker in the ring. Gable's critique of the Street Profits and him pointing out how Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins' careers have been in a slump, even pointing out how Ford has lost 6 inches off his frog splash, was a strong way to get him over as the WWE's arrogant coach and plant the seeds for a feud with the team. Otis's attack on the Profits later in the show was a good way to further the angle and make it clear that Otis has embraced his heel character and allegiance to Chad Gable. The bad. The woeful women's division. As good as Bianca Belair and Bayley have been together, the WWE's continued policy of playing absentee landlord to its women's undercard is frustrating for fans who see how entertaining the WWE's women can be when booked right. This week's example of bad booking was the Carmella vs. Liv Morgan match, a one-on-one encounter that likely had fans going to see if their microwave popcorn was ready. Booking boredom. Congratulations to the Blue Brand's writing team for taking what looked to be a promising program with King Corbin vs. Shinsuke Nakamura and turning it into an awful affair better suited for main event. Corbin and Nakamura can both go in the ring, and the storyline of Nakamura stealing Corbin's crown has promise. Throw in both wrestlers' ability to work fantastic matches, and this would seem like an easy feud. For some reason though, the WWE is following the Raw playbook of endless rematches with no variety to them. Rick Boogs isn't helping, and it's obvious the WWE thinks Nakamura needs someone to make him more exciting despite the King of Strong Style's work being all that's needed. If the WWE wants to use Boogs to help Nakamura, team the two up and pair them off against King Corbin and one of the heels that inevitably find themselves following Corbin. SmackDown's writers have and can do better than they're doing here, so it's disappointing to see a potentially big feud fall apart due to lazy writing. The Downright Ugly. Another solid episode of SmackDown with the WWE continuing to build the blue brand around Roman Reigns and doing so without ignoring the rest of the roster. While there were the usual problems with the women's undercard and some lazy writing with Shinsuke and King Corbin, the majority of the show was exciting and had fans eager to stay until the very end. With rumors of Brock Lesnar returning to the WWE as well as John Cena, Roman Reigns could be in for his biggest challenge yet. News: Andrade debuts in AEW, and why? Former WWE superstar Andrade debuted on the 4th June edition of Dynamite after Vicky Guerrero introduced him. Andrade told the fans, "I used to say I am the face of Latinos, but today I am saying I will be the new face of All Elite Wrestling." Andrade's appearance in AEW comes as little surprise, as many fans believed it was inevitable. Despite Andrade's in-ring skills, what makes him worth AEW's money considering the promotion is flush with talent? Andrade's biggest contribution to AEW will be his appeal to Hispanic audiences both in the United States and Mexico. Keep in mind that Andrade works in AAA, which has a talent-sharing agreement with AEW, so this signing makes sense, as fans who enjoy his work in AEW may tune into AAA and vice versa. With Andrade challenging Kenny Omega for AAA's Mega Championship, appearing on Dynamite will only help build the program. It goes without saying that Andrade can have good matches with any number of stars, and his biggest challenge will be finding a spot to work given AEW's limited cable TV time. Charlotte reacts. So, what does Andrade's fiancée Charlotte think of Andrade signing with AEW? The Queen wasted no time reacting, tweeting her excitement at this big accomplishment, but her sadness at him being gone from WWE. Drew McIntyre wants John Cena. Two-time WWE champion Drew McIntyre is always looking for the best opponents, so perhaps it's inevitable that John Cena's name came up during Drew's recent appearance on a T-Mobile Center video. Drew said he'd love to wrestle the 16-time world champion at WrestleMania 39, which just happens to be in Hollywood, California. But if we're going Hollywood, Rock would be the obvious choice. I kinda want to see Rock and Roman, so I'll take Cena since he's kind of gone Hollywood. Drew said the storyline of Cena competing for his 17th world title, which would break Ric Flair's record of 16 world titles, at least by WWE's reckoning, would be compelling. Cena's name has also come up for competition in this year's SummerSlam, so McIntyre may get his wish early. Daniel Bryan's role in the WWE New Japan talks. Interesting news concerning the rumors of the WWE working out a deal with New Japan Pro Wrestling. According to the Wrestling Observer's Dave Meltzer, Daniel Bryan was a major component of the deal. Bryan Danielson was absolutely part of the early talks. That hasn't been the case of late as far as the major aspect, and one source said he hasn't been a part of any recent talks. Meltzer added, "The deal talked about would have more likely been NXT focused and would have things beneficial for both sides, and it's not like WWE is going to buy New Japan or bring in Kazuchika Okada to job for Randy Orton or all the crazy speculation from the past week. Sending NXT talent to Japan could be beneficial for both the WWE and NXT, but it appears talks have fallen by the wayside. That doesn't rule out some sort of talent exchange in the future, but unless New Japan was to have a Vince McMahon-like change of mind, they seem content working with AEW. Did Asuka reveal SummerSlam's location? Last but not least, did Asuka inadvertently reveal SummerSlam's location? Fans are asking this after the Empress of Tomorrow tweeted a picture from Las Vegas's Allegiant Stadium, which is one of the rumored locations for the biggest party of the summer. As Wrestlelamia has pointed out numerous times, the WWE's use of social media to play the fans is well known, so the odds of this being a so-called accident seem slim. Well guys, there you have it, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly from the 4th June Smackdown, along with the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know in wrestling. Be sure to leave your comments, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time for some more wrestling content.